Hi, Rob here. Welcome to the IELTS writing course. In this lesson, we are going to have a discussion 2 about answering the question, so task response in the task 2 writing. How well do you answer the question? That's the point. We want to answer it well. We want to present a well-developed response. We want to have a clear position and a relevant position. And we want to address all parts of the task. Okay, so let's have a look. We need our 4 ideas in the 2 main paragraphs that you're going to extend and support, give more information. Ask yourself, what do I know about this? This will open your mind and give you more ideas. And we're going to go through these questions. When, where, what, why, how. So I'm going to go through these questions for an IELTS question. Oops, there we go. Come back. Many people now live in societies where consumer goods have become relatively cheap. Do you think the advantages of consumer goods being cheaper outweigh the disadvantages? So I'm going to go through this process. So what is a society? Well, society is a group of people that live together, isn't it? Usually we talk about countries. So we'll talk about countries. What is a consumer good? Well, consumer goods, there are 2 types. Again, I've said it before, I tend to think too much about this, but there are 2 types. There's durable goods, which are things like this, the phone, USB. These are durable, it means they last for a long time, or they should. And then there's non-durable goods. For example, I should have prepared better. A box of water, so I consumed it, not all of that today. And it's gone, it's finished. So, Mars bars, food, things that we consume and are finished. So durable and non-durable. So these have become relatively cheap. Well, what's cheap? So not expensive. So affordable to more people. Many live in society. I wonder what societies it's talking about. So I think it really means developed countries where people can buy lots of stuff. Of course, this is a new thing in the world. Now that we import and export goods, China and various other countries manufacture a lot of goods, whereas in developed or overdeveloped countries, really, such as some of those in Europe and the United States, the manufacturing has gone, or has certainly reduced a lot, apart from perhaps high quality goods. So, so that's what, and then when. When did this start to happen? Well, we have a consumer society now where people buy lots of stuff. They make money and they buy stuff. I mean, really, not that long ago, let's say 50 years ago, you couldn't buy this, you couldn't buy this pen, you couldn't buy all these cables, you couldn't buy boxes of water, so you couldn't buy all that stuff. So it's only really since the age of consumerism, which I suppose has been growing for the past 40, 50 years, where people just want to buy more and more, consume more and more, which is obviously a bad idea. If you look at it logically, there's nothing good can come from it, really. So we're just obsessed with buying stuff and money, aren't we? So that's when. So that will probably go into the introduction. Since World War II, societies have started to consume more and more and more as companies have made more and more products and people can afford them. So, nowadays people have lots of televisions in the house, but certainly 50 years ago there was probably one television, and before that was maybe one. So, people can afford to buy TVs easily now. So, when and where developed countries. So this problem doesn't happen in undeveloped countries, does it? People don't buy lots of stuff. They just live more simply. And they're probably happier. But that's a different question. So, where? Yeah, we've talked about that. When? We've talked about that. So what, where, when, why? Why do people buy all this stuff? Well, companies create demand, don't they? They have a product that they make and they want to sell it, so they market it, they sell it, and they give us ideas. Oh, I would like that. I'm guilty of this, of course, myself. I have a motorbike. There you go. Italian motorbikes, very expensive, very fast. Why do I have such a ridiculous machine, really, when I could just buy something cheap and does the same thing? So we are sold ideas and brands and values and identities, and we use these things to create our identity, don't we? But the question is about these products being cheaper, isn't it? So is it good to have lots of cheap products? Well, it creates more jobs, doesn't it? The more stuff we buy, the more jobs it creates for someone somewhere in the world. Even if the product is made in China, someone here is selling it and making money here. So it's good for jobs. Why is it bad? What are the disadvantages? And of course, another advantage is that if these things are cheaper, then more people can have them. And some of these things are good, like refrigerators are good. It's really good to be able to keep your food cool or even freeze it. That's a good thing. I'm not sure about televisions. What else is good? Refrigerators, I suppose stoves to cook on, things to cook on. Machines in the kitchen, perhaps. Not sure about TVs. Computers help us connect to everyone and work. Phones help us to communicate with people and work as well. So those are the advantages. Disadvantages, well, we create too much waste. So if I buy a television for, let's say, $500 and it breaks, I'm probably not going to fix it. I'm probably going to throw it away and get a new one. So we create more waste. Whereas before, our grandparents, their thinking was, okay, it's broken, let's fix it. That's what they did. So we create a lot of waste and pollution because producing TVs creates a lot of pollution. There's plastics and metals and all this stuff that shouldn't be thrown away. And what are the other advantages? And I mean, for me, the disadvantages, just about outweigh the advantages because of the waste. And also, people buy stuff they don't need and they get into debt. They spend money that they don't have, and this causes them problems. This is the great problem of our age. That would be my conclusion. So there are my 4 ideas. And I think I've talked about who in there, so people just buy stuff. I find it amazing when you ask some people, what are your hobbies? And they say shopping. Well, for me, I don't understand how people can go shopping and think that's good in any way. It's just, for me, it's just a waste of time. But that's just my personal opinion, which I can put in here, of course. And I will, that could be my support for that. But then people think, why do you buy motorbikes? So, horses for courses, as we say. We're all different. But so my conclusion is that the disadvantages do outweigh the advantages because of waste and overconsumption. But I accept that some of this consumption is good, and I, of course, consume myself a lot. So, a bit hypocritical, I suppose. Anyway, thank you so much for your time. I hope these discussions are helpful, and you have a great day and watch these other lessons. Thank you very much. Goodbye.